Hi David, thanks very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to answer some questions about your exciting new product, Kandid. Please tell us about your career at Linn.
Hi there, I'm the product designer for Linn. I am responsible for the aesthetic design of the products and also the mechanical engineering of things. I've been working at Linn for 13 years, almost to the week. In fact, it was last week was the 13th anniversary, so it's been quite a long and exciting time that I've had at Linn, and in that time I've had an opportunity to work on a lot of products. To name a few of them would be the Climax 350 speakers, the Accurate range of speakers, the Accurate enclosure, more recently the Kiko system, and obviously the LP12. I have a bit of a soft spot for the LP12 because as a mechanical engineer, very small differences that you make in what you design can have a large difference in the performance of the product. So it's a very rewarding system to actually work on. To name a few of the things that we've done with the LP12 more recently are things like the ECOS SE, the Keel, the Eureka, the Radical, and obviously the Kandid that we're here to talk about today.
Could you tell us about Kandid, your latest product?
Yeah, to name a few things that we've actually done, the most obvious and striking difference that you'll see is that we've removed the body from around the cartridge. So it's gone from having a plastic housing that's around the motor system to being a nude cartridge. And there's a couple of things that this gives you is that we haven't then got a plastic body that's resonating around the cartridge, and it also means it's lighter. So that's the most obvious difference when you look at the two cartridges. The second thing is the actual chassis. So the angle of the front of the chassis has changed from being at 23 degrees to 20 degrees, which means that when the tracking weight is applied to the cartridge, all the flux lines for the magnet are actually parallel. So you're getting a much better representation of what's coming off the vinyl. So that's the two most obvious things. The chassis itself is made from 7075 aluminium, which is also the case for the Akiva, but has become more obvious to me how important that is. We have tried other aluminiums, and it means there's actually a performance difference depending on the grade of aluminium that you're using. The aluminium is the same aluminium that we use on the head shell, so what you're effectively doing is bonding those two things together in the same material, so that from the tip of the stylus right to the back of the arm you have everything in flow and it all works together, so it's a complete system. The aluminium has been given a very light anodize, so it's given a silver finish, so it kind of completes off the aesthetic of the ECOS SE. We have the arm almost disappearing and becoming part of the whole system. The front yoke, the piece of plastic that's on the front of the cartridge, is held on with a plastic screw rather than a metal screw as it was in the Akiva. There's two benefits that you get from this. The first is that you have less metal around the magnet to interfere with the magnetic forces, and the second is that you're obviously lightening the cartridge again. In having a lighter cartridge, it means that you can move the counterbalance closer to the fulcrum of the bearing point, and that means that the arm will move far quicker. You have less inertia for the arm to move, so it's more able, more agile to pick up anything from the vinyl. I think that's probably a few things for you to look at.
For those customers who are considering their next upgrade, where would the Kandid fit in the upgrade path?
The Kandid's actually the last piece that you would upgrade. It's the piece at the end of the arm, so it's the last piece in the system. Ivor set this belief and this ethos at the beginning that source first was important, and that's true within the LP12 as well as within a hi-fi system. So the things that you would upgrade first are all below the deck, and you work your way out. So you would start with your bearing to make sure that's a circus bearing. You're then doing the motor, the sub-chassis, the arm, and then the cartridge. You're working your way out of the deck. And that way you'll get the most bang for your buck in the system.
And finally, we have to ask the question, what music played an important part in the testing of Kandid?
The Kandid was actually quite a long project. It's probably about 2 years to actually get from the Akiva to the Kandid. So we've used a lot of different vinyl in that time. To give you a few highlights of what we've listened to, I would recommend Tracy Chapman, Talking About Revolution, Suzanne Vega, Undertow and Luca, and also Paul Simon, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. But don't take my word for it. Just listen for yourselves, and hopefully you'll agree with what we've done with the upgrade.